Hi guys, this is Maria. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I have done updates on Conservatory. So due to COVID-19 restrictions, Conservatory has been closed. Of course, plants still need to be watered and taken care of. So I've been going there weekly. And since there is no people, it's been so quiet when I'm working, and I thought this would be a great time to give you a tour of all the different succulent projects I worked on in the Desert Dome since I started volunteering at the Conservatory for 2 years ago. Also, I wanted to show you all the succulent pots we have on the windowsill around the Desert Dome. So let's start. So when I started volunteering at the Conservatory, my very first project was cleaning debris under this Euphorbia pencil tree. Underneath here were 3 agaves that have a look kind of like tops of Dracaena plants. They're over there now. And they were always full of debris from the Euphorbia. And it was really hard to clean them because they were very pokey. So they were not good fit for this area. And then you couldn't really access this area because there was this cactus that was right here that was probably 6-7 feet in the air and wide. It had fungus, it had pests, and it just looked terrible. So that was the first project I worked on. And I couldn't remove the stump even with the help of others, so 1/3 of the stump was left, and it produced very healthy new growth. So you can see here, and it had fruit and blooms, and I decided it's going to stay here. I think it actually now maybe has some mealybugs, so need to be sprayed. This agave pot probably needs to be pulled because I think it's going to be too crowded here. But in this area where the agaves were, I decided that putting some opuntias or these cactuses that are like pillars would be the easiest to maintain and clean. So first I planted this one, this opuntia, I think it's called purple pear or something like that, prickly pear. Alyssa and I planted all these donated long cactuses. And they're all doing well except this one, which was drying before we put it there, and it never stopped drying, so I think it maybe just needs to be pulled out of the ground, and it's just not alive. Then we also added these donations on this side. Probably need some more stones to fill out this area. These agaves here were really hard to clean, and I was poked a lot. But with the help of a few other people, this area was probably cut in half, and we cleaned a lot of debris. It's much better looking now, and it's still growing new pups, and we have some new areas with the same agave created around the Desert Dome. This area over here, if you look at my past videos, was redone probably 3 times, twice before freezing. And after the freezing, because some of the plants were lost, I had to redo it again. But since Alyssa and I did it for the 3rd time, it's been doing really good. And I think these plants like it here. I'm going to just allow them to fill the space. We have clusters of aloes that actually survived the freezing. And then there's this cactus here that keeps growing pups. Another little guy here. And then I added these 2 cactuses that seem to be doing well and growing well here. And then I added some more aloes here to fill out the space because I think they like it. I expanded the area following this place with the stones with wisteria that I cleaned up a few times and seems to like to be watered regularly. And I added this little area with stones and aloes, and these aloes grown a lot since I planted them, so they're definitely filling the space. These weeds need to be pulled out, and the dry petals of this cactus need to be removed. Usually when I come here once a week, I focus on putting in the ground plants that haven't been situated, because they sit sometimes for months in the plant room, so that they can have better life. And then maintenance, watering everybody well, cleaning up the pots mainly and the shelves. So sometimes I don't get to this area here, which I feel like it's a simple job. So if there's any other one volunteer, they could do it. But we usually don't get many volunteers. So this cactus here has been a joy to have here. Always grows and grows so much. It's very prolific. It's a prickly pear cactus. Blooms beautifully. When it's in bloom, it's like all of it is like golden yellow color. And one thing that's really disappointing to me is that sometimes parents will let kids run around here and they would like break pieces that would have sometimes 8, 9 petals one on top of each other and just, you know, carry or throw them on the ground, which is kind of really disappointing. So there is some that rooted on their own, and I think we could probably clean up underneath and sell some of it. So when I get to it, I think I'm going to probably prepare some for sale when Conservatory opens up again. Here is what's left over from Stapelia giganta. It was growing like a ground cover in a different part of the desert dome, and it would bloom beautifully, and it froze almost completely. What was left over was very weak, and I moved it here, and I think it did establish because it has new growth. These are all new branches on a few of them I'm seeing, so it does have a distressed color, so I don't know if it's completely working for it here or not. This aloe area I worked on when I also started, probably a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. It was full of debris and a lot of dry leaves, and what a difference it makes with regular watering. I haven't seen any pests here, or rarely I see much of these dry leaves. I think it just has the right amount of water, and they have been growing really well. This plate I didn't get to. It's been a long time since I worked on it. So it's pretty dry, doesn't have enough soil, so I need to redo that. This year, we had that big agave that was like this. Those are all the pups that died, I think, a year and a half ago. It was quite a challenge pulling it out. The bloom stalk was all the way to the ceiling. And it shot a lot of pups when it was dying, so I pulled actually a number of them and prepared for sale because we cannot just accommodate to have 20 of them, one by each other. And I think I'm going to wait for these guys to grow a little bit more, and then I'm going to pull them as well, and maybe leave these 2 big ones and the one over there, and have this area, this path here, so I can pass through and water, because I usually have to take the hose through. This Pear cactus has survived freezing, and I have propagated quite a bit of it. Actually, there is a little pup here that fell off, so I think it needs a bigger pot, so probably need to take care of that. Then over there, we had some old, bad-looking agaves. That was pulled, so that area is now empty there. This casteria has been here, always blooms, changes colors, but it does get dry a lot, so I think that sometimes if I don't come and it's not watered, you can see that plants are thirsty. I planted these guys here. It's a different type of agave than the one over there that I showed you. This one has like a little sharp edges, and it's really beautiful. It grew probably 8 leaves since I brought it here, so almost all of the old leaves are gone. Grew a lot, and the pups grew a lot as well. So I think it likes here. So this is the area where we had Stapelia giganta. Then there is a little area with these agaves. This one was never really cleaned, so there is some debris and old leaves that are super fibery, so they're really hard to remove. This area was created about a year ago by me with the help of volunteers, but because we had a huge tree here and what was left over is this stump, I wanted to cover that stump so it It's quite in the center of the desert dome, so it doesn't look bad. And I thought that these agaves would look well here, so I actually beheaded them and placed them as a cuttings. They rooted really fast, and then I added some cactuses in the back and some aloes. This aloe is really cute because it changes colors to like red and pink. And they all seem to be quite content here. I like that area. I don't know if you remember from my past videos, Alyssa and I created this area. I just added Mexican post a few weeks ago that was donated, that big one. And then I added this agave that was also donated. So this area seems to be doing good. We also created this area here. Agave was moved, that third agave that was under pencil tree here by the stone. And then Alyssa and I just added this golden barrel stretched cactus and the big cactus that was donated in the back. And she did a good job with adding stones. This area didn't change a lot. It was mostly cleaned regularly because it had a lot of mother of millions and a lot of agaves and aloes mixed in, so it was cleaned a lot, and I think it looks pretty good. There's donated cactus here and a variegated agave. We did have right here by this metal pole, I don't know why it's here, it's really hard to pull out. We had a really tall Euphorbia tree, I don't know, maybe 15 feet in the air, that froze. And that was quite a project that I didn't actually record. It was quite physically demanding cutting and, you know, has sap. So we cut it on the ladder and tried to catch it, not to fall on any of these plants underneath and break any leaves, and we were successful. Then this was donated and it was in a super heavy pot. Alyssa and I, when we were carrying this, we had to stop every 5 feet. And then it was super hard to pull it out of the pot because it was so pokey. Agaves are very unfriendly. And we did, I think, good job. So I like where I placed this agave. We used to have a variegated agave that died here. Then I'm propagating this donated one, this donated cactus, because it was super skinny on the bottom here. It didn't look very well. And I just wanted to have this pretty blue top. So this is another area we created of these because we have too many of them. This area, Alyssa and I also created with aloes and cactus. I moved this agave funkiana, fatal attraction, here because we had too many of them in this area. So that's been maybe a year ago or longer, and now it's finally shooting pups, and they're like so cute. You can see them. I also bought this at Ted's Greenhouses and added it here, and then this area you can watch video when I created it. I was really proud how I did this area and created this very natural look, like with stones and cactuses growing in between the stones. Except these weeds that need to be pulled out, you know, like this. So annoying. So I'll have to clean them up. And yeah, that's about it as far as the desert dome goes. So I'll go and show you what we have on the shelves. So this is one of the donations. I have a similar one. I think it's a peanut cactus variety. I didn't have here blooms yet in the conservatory since I planted it, but I'm sure it's healthy. It doesn't have any pests. So this is the one that I brought from home. It really struggled when I brought it here, maybe half a year ago, and it had some yellow leaves and lost a lot of leaves. But I think it's finally recovered and I see some new growth. So it's a type of prickly pear cactus. This is the one that really struggled with me and had so many pests and mealybugs mainly, and I thought it's gonna die. And I brought it here for recovery, completely recovered, and I think just gonna stay here because it's doing good. have some cactuses that's been here forever. I don't even know who donated them and how long they have been here. This one bloomed and has a bunch of seeds all over the place. These are the cuttings that I took from a plant that was frozen, and I think that they mostly rooted. They lost a lot of leaves while they were rooting, because some of the weeks I couldn't come to water plants because we were really busy at work and with the new house. So I think that they needed more water, but they all have little, roots. So I think that they just need to be watered more regularly to grow a little bit faster. This is one of my cactuses that I donated. This one as well. I don't really have this variety at home anymore, but this one has done really good here. Just likes it here, grown quite a bit. I brought this guy on recovery here, and I think it's doing much better. I don't have this variety at home, so I'll probably return it back home. There's some more cuttings propagation that I did here in Conservatory. Somebody donated this plant, and it was like a beautiful big pot, and then the freezing came and froze almost the whole pot. It was so sad. This is propagations that I did from pepper cactus. They successfully rooted, produced more babies, looking really cute. This was also a donation that seems to be doing okay here. This was donated, and it has overgrown the pot, really needs to go in the ground. Kind of hard project, it's pretty heavy for one person and pokey, so I was waiting to have somebody come with me so I can place this one in the ground. So that's one of the bigger projects that I need to do, and to cut this agave that I didn't show you that bloomed this year. So it's a dead bloom, so it needs to be cut down because it's going to completely dry out. But I think it has a part, because there's two of them that's healthy, so just cutting the half of it. And those are not easy to cut if it's and pool if it's just one person. These are some of the plants that I brought here for recovery. One of my echeverias that was really fussy at home, so I just didn't know what it wants. And I think since I brought it here, it started growing new leaves, so maybe I'll leave it a little longer before bringing it home. This was in the ground in the desert dome, and it was super dry, so I put it in a pot, and I think it needs more water. Peanut cactus. This is another echeveria that I brought here for recovery. It was very fussy at home. I think it's doing okay, so needs more water, I think. It has some dry leaves underneath. This is also what I brought from home. This is Trelesi sedum that stretched really bad at my home. And since I brought it here, and I put it right by the heater, and the heater is still running, so it's like one of the hottest spots. I don't know, maybe they like really warm. And it stays dry a lot. So, and since I brought it, it started shooting pups like crazy. And it started getting compact look on top, and then in between leaves, growing babies. So I'm really happy about that. I donated this a while ago. It's some kind of rebutia. These were some cuttings that I found in the plant room that are not doing good because it's probably too hot here, and then they completely dry up. Okay, let me show you what else we have here. We have some cactuses that are not looking in the best shape here. Okay. These guys were almost frozen during those really low temperatures last year, but so they don't look that great. This is one of the cactuses that I brought and donated here. Then we have a mimicry plant here, and this cactus was donated 21 years ago, so it didn't grow very much, I suppose. This was also a donation, really pretty. I think it's missing the soil. Maybe it was flipped at some point, so I need to add some soil to this one. This is a Livingstone, super firm, lost one pair of leaves, grew a new pair. It's very humid here, and it was still watered once a week with like a few spoons of water, and it did just fine. So I always have trouble with these. And here we watered it during the winter, and it did great, and it's like really firm. So I don't know, something about the airflow and sun here that's really working well for it. This is dried up, so I need to take this. This was also donation, really outgrown the pot. So, but it's doing okay. It loses a lot of leaves, as you can see on the ground. So probably would benefit from either being put in the ground or planted in a little bit bigger pot. So I'll eventually have to deal with that too when I have some help, because this is also very heavy. As you can see, it gets a lot of dry leaves. But I love jades. They're so pretty. Then here, Mammillaria plumosa. This is a cactus, feathery, white-like. Then we have another cactus here. This one is really cool looking, some kind of Mammillaria. This is my Stapelia gingenta that I brought here to recovery. As you know, all of my Stapelias were attacked by mealybugs, root mealybugs. So I think it's doing better since it's here. It has very distressed colors, so I don't know what to think about that. And I'll just let it stabilize here. We have some plants on the ground. These are all recent donations. I don't know what happened with this Madagascar tree. It just dropped all the leaves like a few weeks ago. Then there's some more donated cactuses. This is my Huernia Tourette primulina. I also brought it here for recovery because of the mealybugs and just to have a better airflow. So I sprayed them, of course, before I brought them. And these don't have them in the soil. They had them on the top, so hopefully it's gonna recover. I do love this one. It's a very good plant. So I didn't even know that this donation has bloomed a lot. Look at how pretty that is. I love these vibrant red colors on the peanut cactuses. I think I have the same variety, and no matter how attacked by mealybugs, it blooms every year for me. It's like so beautiful. And then there is some kind of butia that's blooming here. I love this gentle white color. This was also donated in the last 6 months. This one does not look good. I think it's dead, and I see pests, so I think I'm gonna throw away this pot. We bought this from Lowe's, or got some of them, so I situated them. I planted all of these in the pots and placed them here. This is old Obisa that was here. This is actually my cactus that I brought here. It wasn't really growing at my house, so I brought it here and it started shooting new babies, so that's good. This was also donation. Another, I don't know, I forgot what's the name of this, Ceros something, Ming something cactus. There's some aloes and agave. Donated Euphorbia that Emily and I talked about putting in the ground. And again, I would love to put this in the ground. It's heavy. It's not easy to manage. It's really hard for one person. So I'm waiting to, maybe when Alyssa comes back, we can tackle on some of these bigger stuff. And then I can just focus on maintenance when she's not here. This one I brought here, we had a huge one here in the desert dome that froze. And I brought this one because it's really pokey and I didn't want to keep it at home. But then it started losing all the leaves, and it's been terrible since I brought it. It just kept drying leaves. And then finally, in the last month, started perking up. Started growing well, and growing even on the bottom, having new growth. So even though it lost a lot of leaves, it's growing new ones on its place. So hopefully it's gonna be all right. Another donation from the last year. That's the climbing aloe. I have this one. It's a good aloe and easy to propagate. I have made videos about propagating this one by taking cuttings or beheading them. They root pretty easily. This one seemed a little bit dried up, so maybe needs some cleaning and, a little more water. but it looks really healthy on top. Do you remember this one? This is mine, guys. Look at how big it is. This prickly pear cactus is growing so many babies petals, but it's so heavy and it's so big. It's leaning here that I brought it here, and I don't know what this one is. Something running out of it. One of these. Yeah, I think it needs to be put in the ground. It's a little bit different variety than this one here that we have. I think it has different blooms. Then we have some cactuses that were here before. This is also my donation. It's a golden barrel cactus. There is some more propagated Teffer cactus. And these are also propagations that I'm doing of the Series Ducktail cactus, which I'm going to show you in just a little bit. So over here I hang these ducktail cactuses. I bought originally one pot that was this size, and then I split cuttings and plant between 3 pots, and the pots pretty much doubled and tripled in size. So they seem to be doing good. This one is a little bit having dry leaves or something, so needs to be cleaned up. And then we have some small pots here on the ledge. This one is attacked by mealybugs, I think, so needs to be sprayed with alcohol. This is the one that I brought here in the past. And then on this side we have also a few small pots. And of course, these guys always find a way to get in somewhere. We have so many of these. And this one is dead, so I need to take this pot out. And I also wanted to show you my Sedum Virginianum that I brought here. It was quite small cuttings. Look at this, guys, after a year. And look at what a really nice compact look it has. And I have never seen this blooming, but it's blooming. And it's such a gentle, pretty red blooms on the edges of these branches. It's so beautiful. There's a lot of new growth here. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the tour, and I will see you soon in the next succulent video where I'm planning to give you an update on my propagation projects.